Hi, dreamers! Welcome back to Carried Away the Conversation, where we bring together writers, readers, and dreamers all under one umbrella. You're here with Ashley,
Camille,
and Ana Maria.
We're back! Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, we're back.
Hi, dreamers! Welcome back to another episode of Carried Away the Conversation, and we're going to just be telling you where we've been.
We're just gonna,
I don't know.
To be honest, there is no plan. The plan is we're here.
The plan is we're here.
Yeah.
The plan is we're in season 3 of Carried Away the Conversation.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So welcome.
Yeah, welcome back. Hope
back.
you missed us because we missed you. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? Shall we tell them? What went down? Actually, does anyone? Sharing is caring.
I didn't even know we were on the 3rd season, but period.
Oh, period.
That's what we say when we go on a hiatus and for a while, and then we come back and we're like, we're just in the next season.
Yeah.
I see a pattern there. I see it.
Yeah. We kind of fell off a little bit for
That's
a time there, but it was much needed. Like, it was
We
necessary.
never fall.
To be honest, I don't even want to call it a fall off. Like, sure, we weren't around, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
No.
It's only been like
A
our
month.
last episode was in December.
Let's just say that we had an extended Christmas break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Something
had our
like-
holidays.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've been reading a lot, so I feel like
Period.
it was times well spent.
Yeah.
Productive.
Because if we're so honest about our reading habits, we were talking about this the other day, Ashley. How towards the end of last year, maybe we were just saving face and saying that we were reading, but I really wasn't. Like,
No. Yeah.
no.
I was embarrassed that I was going through a like reading rut.
Mm.
Like I would pick up a book and I just could not finish it for the life of me. And I would reread sentences like multiple times, and then I was like, well, I've made my entire identity around being a book girly, and I'm not reading.
No, literally just got her master's in like literature, and you're not reading. What do you mean? Yeah,
but
it felt fraudulent.
But uni does that to you. It suddenly makes you like not like reading. I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point,
Or
I
at
was
least-
just tired reading for uni, and then I didn't have any time to read for anything else. Like,
Yeah. I feel like I was just stuck in the motion of like, oh, I'm reading because I have to, not because I want to.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I didn't have to read anymore, I couldn't find it in myself to want to pick up a book, at least for like a time there.
And that was honestly kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like not knowing if I still even liked reading.
You do.
Yeah.
But you need a break, like every other
Yeah.
person. That just sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I prefer to not read on survival mode just because I'm supposed to like it or because I have to like it. But
I wouldn't even say like the university, for me at least, like this is my testimony. I don't think like studying had any bearing on me liking to read or anything. I picked books that I wanted to read to write my thesis, so it wasn't even like academia sucked the joy out of me for reading. That wasn't me. It was more, I think it was just like my own pressure, like the pressure I was putting onto myself of like, no, you need to like go out and build your own like literary community and then, you know, contribute to it well and just all this other like bullshit. And I think I just got swamped in December.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
See, for me, this is a pattern because I've realized like in the past few years, I think it was because of uni, like throughout the academic year, I would only read like uni books. And then towards like Christmas break, so halfway through the year, I'd be like, no, this is my time to shine. And then I'd read like 30 books in like a really short span of time. And then I'd get burnt out. And then for the rest of the year, I wouldn't pick up a book for me, like for joy, just for me. And I would only pick up the books that I would have to because I would just, I don't know. I just don't have healthy reading patterns.
Fair enough.
And I'm kind of coming off of one of those like really intense reading situations. Like I just read a lot of books over Christmas break, and I'm still reading, but I can already feel myself slowly slowing
Pace
down.
yourself. We don't want to repeat.
I
We do
know.
not
I
wanna
know.
repeat.
Balance. It's a foreign concept to me.
Balance.
But,
I don't know
yeah.
her.
No,
don't know
not
her.
really. Not when it comes to reading.
No. But I mean, that being said, I'm glad we're all back.
Yes, definitely.
And like ready to just, get back into the swing of reading. Did everyone set their like reading goals on Goodreads?
Yep. I
Where
came
we
down
at?
from that cloud real fast.
Yeah.
No, because tell me why. Okay, last year my challenge was 30 books, and it took me, okay, I realized in October I'd only read 6 books. Well, okay, 6 books for myself. I didn't include any of my studying books or like anything like that. This was all just books I was reading in my own time because I wanted to, and I realized I'd only read 6. And there were 2 months left in the year. And I was like, I don't know how that's gonna go, but somehow I pulled it off. I even read 31 books. I went
period.
above and beyond.
Yeah.
And then so I left 2024 on a very high note. And then it fed into my Delulu. So for my Goodreads challenge for 2025, I was like, I can read 50 books. Like if I read over 20 in 2 months, I can for sure read 50 in a year. But then we were talking and you guys were like, Camille, calm down. You're putting too much pressure on yourself. So now it's 40. I've come down from my delusions and I've put it at 40, which I think is quite reasonable.
See, last year I put 40 books on my Goodreads goal,
Mm.
but because shit went down, I didn't get to that. I ended up reading like 25 books, but then I changed the goal on my Goodreads. I was like, you know what? Maybe this was my goal all along. Maybe I didn't know.
Exactly,
But now-
exactly.
You cannot fail if you change the goal.
Exactly.
Why the fuck? Why not? I don't see why. I
You
don't
are
see
in
why not.
control of your own destiny, your own successes, your own failures. I'm setting myself up for success. Of course I'm going to change the challenge. Are you literally joking?
I changed the goal to 25 and then I ended up reading 26 or something. I was like, yeah,
Fantastic.
period. That's it.
You exceeded expectations.
Exactly.
I was like, you know what? Under these circumstances, I think 25 books is fine. This year
I
put
think it's
30.
great.
I think this year I put mine at 35. I think, yeah. Which is fine because I'm already 7 books in.
Oh, period.
Wow.
Period.
Oh my fucking
Exactly.
god.
Cool.
But that's also because it's also because I'm reading an audiobook.
Oh.
I
Yes.
count those. This count. There's time spent on those books, and
There
still
there
reading.
is.
Yeah, some
true.
people are very like purist
Oh,
about
no.
this. They're like, no, it doesn't count unless you're
No.
literally, flipping a
No.
page and reading. But
Then
I feel
Kindle
like an
doesn't
audiobook
count too.
counts.
Then
I
Kindle
It
don't
takes
know.
mental energy to like follow a story. And I feel like even if you're listening to an audiobook, I don't know if you have this, but like, okay, sometimes even if I'm listening to an audiobook, I'll read along physically.
Yeah.
Or
Mm-hmm.
you're just imagining so much in your head. Like you're following the story. I feel it counts. It counts.
It counts.
Literally
I go
fight
back
me.
and forth. Yeah. I go back and
Period.
forth, and maybe I'm on like the wrong side of the fence with this one, but yeah. I mean, what's the difference between listening to an audiobook and listening to music?
Period. I don't think that's
no.
the same.
Then why'd y'all say period like that?
I'm taking my period back. I'm sorry. Let me just.
No, I had
The
to
way you
process
support
between
it was
an
like
audiobook and
No,
a
no,
song.
no.
or like listening to music. Like let's say you listen to an album.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
think
not
there
the
is
same
a-
because okay,
It's not-
you
okay.
might listen to an album for the first time and put like actually listen to it, but the other times maybe you're like, no, I just want it there.
Yeah.
Because when I listened to Bad Bunny's new album, I wasn't there. I was vibing, but I wasn't there. But with
Yeah,
the
that's
book,
fair.
you have to be
But-
there.
But what if you've read this book before and now you're listening
Exactly.
to the audiobook? Like, is
Like-
that not essentially the same thing? Then it doesn't really count. Because, like, what
I
if you're
don't
just.
know. Because right now, to get out of my reading slump, I had to go back to the basics and start listening to all of the Harry Potters.
Mm.
But I put them on like I put on music.
That's
Like
Are
I
you,
put-
like, actively, like.
I'm engaged because I'm like
Exactly.
in the story. I'm like, oh fuck, Harry, what are you doing?
That
First of all, Harry's a
counts.
little bitch.
Nobody likes Harry. Nobody likes
Yeah. I don't really like any of them, but I guess that's why you need three of them because they create
the balance
one
out each other.
entity to like. But whatever.
See,
my thing
you have
my
been
thing
listening to the books.
true, I have again, this is why I don't know if I like count audiobooks in my reading challenge. I think I do,
I think they
but
count.
I
I
feel
yeah,
stand
like
am
by
I
that.
actively like turning off everything else to engage like I do when I'm physically reading the book? No.
mm.
Like physical
I will say,
I
like,
don't
in
know.
the past when I have been listening to an audiobook, because I've exposed myself before, but I'll only listen to an audiobook if like the text is hard to get through or like I'm on a time crunch. But in those situations, I really have to actively pay
Listen.
attention in
Yeah.
order for any of it to process or
Yeah.
for me to absorb any of the information that's happening. And I have to have the words in front of me, otherwise,
Mm,
I'll lose my way.
mm.
So I don't know, actually. I might be taking back, like, okay, fight me. Like,
So where are you standing right
I
now?
don't know. Now I'm like, is
I
listening to
think
an
it
audiobook
counts. I think it
reading?
counts.
I I
It
want it to
depends on the
count.
circumstance, I
Yeah.
guess.
I want it to count.
I think it does. I don't know. You
Wait, when you
still.
go in Goodreads, does it show audiobooks? Like when you
No.
search up, because I know they show ebooks and Kindle, like whatever
I don't think
versions
it
of books. Do they
shows.
show audiobooks?
Let me take a
Because
look.
if they don't, then that gives you Goodreads' position on this
That
situation.
good. But what's the difference? But why make the distinction between ebooks and physical books then?
Well, just because I guess maybe the
Period.
formatting is different, like when you're tracking
Maybe.
Mm.
a book.
Yeah, makes
But
sense. How do you cite an audiobook? Can you?
oh wait, no, they show audiobooks.
Oh, okay. We'll delete that train of thought
There's
then.
one audiobook. So Goodreads thinks it does count.
Okay.
There, that's enough. That's all I need to know. Not me listening to the man, but no, I don't know. This is too complicated. Who am
I mean,
I?
because
Who am I to decide?
not everyone has the ability to like sit down and read.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. If you say it
So
like that, yeah.
on one hand, I'm like, yeah, no, audiobooks count, but the actual like process of reading takes a bit more effort
Yeah.
for me. Even though I love to do it, it's my life's joy, one of them. It does require a lot more effort, which is why I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why it's called a challenge because it takes some effort as
Well, if
opposed
you
to
put it like
listening to an
that.
audiobook. It doesn't take that much effort.
Oh my god.
You
I keep
see?
going back and forth.
See, I
Yeah.
have two things to say on that. First of all, I
Okay.
can't believe that you, Camille, didn't count your uni reads because I put them in. I put them in my challenge. I'm like, you know what? I was challenged to read them.
No.
I was provoked.
Well, okay, I would put a book in if I actually enjoyed reading it, but if I felt
Mm.
like I was just reading, because I really have a thing about I will read books in the time I'm meant to read them. So
Mhm.
sometimes I'll read a book and maybe it'll be a good book, but I just wasn't mentally prepared to read it
Mm.
and
Mm.
consequently did not enjoy it. And then
Yeah.
I don't want to put it on my Goodreads challenge because I'm like, well, I didn't enjoy reading this, so I don't want it to count towards anything. It felt like
Mhm.
work. It didn't feel like I feel like reading's supposed to be
Mhm.
joyful. So if I feel the joy has been sucked out of it for one reason or another, I just don't want to count it. I don't
But
want to tarnish my
but do you finish in those cases?
yeah.
So
It's a
I
book.
think it should count.
I think so.
I don't know.
Can I say also, you know what it is? That's what prevents me from reading more than I want to. Every time I'm like, all the books I've read, I've put them like 4 stars or like 5 stars out of 5 or something. And I'm like, what if I just spend my time on reading a shitty book and then I
Mm.
wasted my, and then I don't know, I read the summary and I'm like,
But is a
Yeah.
and then,
shitty book ever a waste of time? Because now, like, you don't like this type of book. Like, I would have
mm,
all, for example, there's a book called Our Wives Under the Sea.
mm-hmm,
And
Mm-hmm.
I have strong feelings of dislike towards this book.
mm-hmm,
But if I had not read it, it's supposed to be like mermaid type literature or whatever. But if I had not read it, I would have been like, I like all mermaid books because I'm a mermaid girly.
Yeah.
But then I read this book and I was like, wait, I don't like this. So I think even the books you don't like need to count towards a challenge.
Mm,
And how
yeah.
do you
Okay, if you
feel
finish
about
them, yeah.
and
If you
how do
finish
you
it.
feel about disliking a book without even have read it?
Reading it,
Reading it.
reading
Yeah.
it.
I don't know what the fuck that was. That
That
was a
was-
brain
Wait,
fart. I'm
without
very sorry.
having even read it. That's correct.
Yes, thank you.
I don't think it's. What are you basing your dislike on then?
Public
I don't
opinion?
know. Public opinion, reviews, then some TikTok edits. I'm like,
Thing is, I try not to judge.
Yeah.
I will still read something for myself, even if people are like, "Oh, this book is so overhyped," or "This book is absolutely trash," or "This book is the best book I've ever read in my entire life." It doesn't matter what the opinion is. I'll read it because I want to know for myself.
Yeah.
Like I literally just read I started over here reading the Powerless series.
Yeah.
And like the first book was like, okay, whatever. But these books were so hyped up. And I was like, well, let's see, shall we? And I read the first book. The first book was like, okay, whatever. I felt like I'd read these books before. They're just very cliche fantasy tropes. And then the second book, I just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
that's how
Yeah.
I feel about the fourth one.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to read it for yourself.
Yeah.
I've read Fourth Wing. I don't regret reading it, and that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say which one I'm talking about, but I'm like, but
Wait,
then
now you have to say.
No, now
it.
you have to expose.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Avatar.
Oh.
I
Wait, do you
don't
just
wanna
not
read-
like the like hype around it?
Definitely.
But also, I just don't think that's your vibe of book.
Yeah.
Like
You
the
don't know me
genre
like that.
itself.
No.
I think I do actually. I think I do know
I
you
beg
like
to
that.
differ.
No, I think like no. I genuinely do think I know you like that. I think the style of writing, I think the universe, I just think the story in general is not your vibe. So obviously
what
you
is
don't.
my
To
vibe?
be honest, I
Because-
think it would be though.
Really?
I
Big
think
Or
Because-
maybe is it the first book? Have you tried reading it?
Avatar? No.
Girl.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Listen, I like fantasy. For example, I read One Dark Window, and then immediately, I finished the two books in like a week. I don't know. That's not very fast, but that was fast for me in the moment that I was in, and I really enjoyed it. And that had fantasy, and it had world building and good. Well, characters were not.
Yeah. But
I
I feel
would
like
like
you
some more
like
character.
I feel like you like fantasy with some, grit and
Yeah.
like darkness to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Akatar has its moments, but I just don't think it's immediately
come later,
like
though.
that. Yeah. So
Okay,
you
fair
really have to be motivated to continue
It's fine. I
reading.
don't
The
have
first
to.
I
book,
would
it
say-
took me 2 tries to get
I
through
would say
it.
listen to them on audiobook because
Fine.
I read them when they first came out. I think I read the first 3 when they first came out back in 2014, but I haven't reread them since. But last fall, I started listening to the audiobooks, and when I say I was gripped, gripped.
See, yeah, no, I believe it. No, I believe it. I'm like, okay, but there's so many also. I'm like,
Well, Akatar is not so bad. Throne of Glass is like 13 fucking
Yeah,
books.
I'm not reading Throne of Glass.
I want to because I know the books are good. Like I've read the first 2 before in the past, but I stopped because it was just so draining to think about how many books were
Yeah,
ahead,
they
and then
are,
I
yeah.
lost momentum, and I was like, nope, it's the end. But I
Fair
want to
enough.
start rereading them, and I actually think you would like those books, Anna.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I think
Somebody
you would like
has told
them.
me that before.
I don't know if
Hey,
I
go.
would.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
No, I think
don't-
you would get. I think you would maybe enjoy it for a time, but I don't think you would be able to
It's just
read
like-
all
Yeah.
13 books and
I don't
stay
think
happy
I would.
about it.
No,
Yeah.
not my vibe.
No. But yeah, don't
maybe,
let
yeah.
like public opinion and reviews and whatever hold you back from trying to read something. I feel you always have to
Give it a
have a little
shot.
snip of it
Yeah.
for yourself.
And now because Ashley, you said about audiobooks, like maybe I should listen to Akatar. I'm like, maybe I should listen to Iron Flame because when I try to read it,
No,
I'm
no,
like,
Listen to
I don't
Iron.
think you should listen to Iron Flame because I think
No?
it would be cringy to read to
Oh,
hear it read out
it's
loud.
I couldn't
cringy
read
reading
it.
too.
I couldn't read it. Like I really
Oh.
needed someone to narrate it for me. Even though I bought the book and I tried reading it, I was getting so bogged down by this
Frustrated.
woman's inner thoughts. I'm like, can you please just shut the fuck up? So
And I really like the world building. I loved it. I
Yeah.
I
loved the
love the
dragons.
universe.
Yeah, it's
That's what
so
I'm there for.
good.
mm,
I don't like the characters.
No, but
Yeah.
that's also why I haven't started reading Onyx Storm yet, because I can already feel that I'm gonna be emotionally like drained
Mm.
just from being around these people, these fictional people.
yeah.
So I haven't started yet. We'll
I
see about
think
that.
I did myself a slight disservice
Hmm.
by reading Fourth Wing, listening to Iron Flame, and now I think I'm going to read Onyx Storm,
Mhm.
but I already took myself out of like the reading of it. Like, what if?
Mm.
So, like the thing with or any type of books is like when you read a word, it sounds different in your head than
Mhm.
how it does like when someone else is narrating.
Yeah.
And like you recognize the word and you probably don't even attach a sound to it. You just recognize like the amalgamation of letters.
Mhm. Mhm.
Versus now when I'm going from reading to listening to reading again, it's going to be like, fuck, I screwed myself. Now what the fuck is this? Who is that
You
character
know
that
what?
I didn't?
Anything to
Yeah.
just get through it.
Yeah. But no
Anything
one's
to
forcing
finish.
you.
No, I know.
No,
But
no one's
anything,
forcing you, honey.
but anything that will make your experience better. That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I'm going to do.
maybe you know what the problem is. I think if mm, if the books had maybe a character with a frontal lobe. That's
Fully
so
developed.
mean. I'm very sorry, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? Right?
But
Should I
Yeah.
like I
explain
guess
it? I don't know.
that's part of like the
The genre.
The drama.
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
And also part of the allure, I guess, that there are these like kind of frustrating moments and you're just waiting for the solve, like
yeah.
for when
And
it's all figured out.
I'm not saying one second.
Or for when
I'm
these people become who you want them to be. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
you can't
And I'm
start at
not
the end.
yeah. I'm not saying that with the frontal
Camille.
lobe she would be perfect, but I'm not saying that with the frontal lobe she would be perfect. That's not what I want her to be. I don't want her to be the perfect female lead. No, I want her to have imperfection and I want that all that stuff. But sometimes I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
No, fair. Because I
Yeah.
feel the same way.
She's fighting against the progress that she wants.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for articulating it in such a nice way that I cannot. I asked the question before in English and I couldn't even say it right. So there we have it.
That's just because you've been in Greece for a minute.
Oh my god. I've been
You'll
in
come
Greece
back.
for a minute. Y'all, listen. Every time I come here, something aggressive just comes out of me because the way I'm angry all the time. I go to the streets and I'm like, is he dumb? Is she stupid? Is she like this? Everyone, nobody knows how to drive. The streets are a wreck, and I'm like, what is what is this?
Are
Where
you
are
Maybe
we?
remembering
this
why
is
you
good
left?
for you to get that whole out.
Yeah.
People screaming on the street. There was one guy, like my mom was driving, and there was one guy who stopped dead on his tracks in the middle of the street to greet another person. And I'm like, this is not your street.
I love that.
This is not your street. Like, oh, yeah. All that because I feel very aggressive these days. I don't know why.
That's funny.
I love it. I love feral energy. I love feral Anna.
I don't know how I went from Iron Flame to that, but there you have
Yeah,
it.
that was quite a
No.
jump.
Yeah.
That's
But no, now
undiagnosed ADHD for
But
you.
now I've been processing what you've been saying about like, oh, going from reading it to an audiobook and now you're going to go back to reading it. I think I also have a little bit of trepidation to starting this book because I read the other two on my Kindle. And now the only version I have of it is this physical thick ass
yeah.
paperback. And
Yeah.
something about that is extremely daunting. On my Kindle, like reading on your Kindle is so la-di-da. You're just like tap, 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 tap. And you don't really feel the pages and it's all just fun. But now I can see this physical brick. And like I know, I think that's also part of it for me. So
The format that we had an episode about this last year
Yeah.
around this time, but like the format in which you read really plays a part. Unfortunately.
to be honest, I think that's the only reason I was able to get through Iron Flame is because I was reading it on my Kindle and I could just be like,
Yeah, tap tap tap.
tap tap tap.
No, that's
The,
so true.
yeah.
I don't
Like
I
if
think.
I
en-
if I had the physical book in front of me and I could turn and see how far I had to go
Mm.
and like the bullshit I was reading, I would have given up. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Or like skipped ahead a few pages and they're like,
Yeah.
"What are you still blabbering about the same shit?" Okay. Okay. Skip ahead.
Yeah.
Or
No,
is it ever about the
it,
same shit?
truer words were never spoken.
But I
Is what
think in that case, oh wait, okay, I think I'm having an epiphany for myself. I
Do it.
think I would rather read standalones physically,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
listen to books I've already read like physically on audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
maybe read fantasy on Kindle.
You
This is a
could.
good method.
You
I
could.
support this.
That makes the most sense,
That
I
makes a
think,
lot
for
of
me.
sense.
Yeah. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
found my solution.
I love that.
To be honest, I don't think I would have finished. Like, what did I read? I was reading since I bought my Kindle. I read like some big books that I haven't, and I wouldn't have read if it wasn't for the
Mm.
Kindle. Because
Mm,
why? That's so like I didn't believe it at first. I was like, okay, how much faster can I actually read? Like, I still
yeah.
read the way that I read. No, 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 no. I think you, Camille,
Hmm.
said that. You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kindle really just awakens
Yeah,
something inside of
Hmm.
you and you're just like, I can read a 700-page book easy peasy,
definitely.
Easy
lemon
peasy.
squeezy. Give me 3
Mm.
days. Genuinely, I'm like on some shit when I have my Kindle in my hands. But recently, I've been reading a lot of paperbacks because I decided, like, I looked at my physical TBR and I was like, no,
You
some
need
Mm.
to
of these
take
books must be
breaks.
read.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's
I
okay
actually
to take
really
breaks.
enjoy. Okay, Camila and I are having a sleepover right now. And
Hmm.
last night you were reading with your book and you looked so cute and cozy. And I was like looking over and I was like, "Aw." But see, that's when I had the thought of like, am I reading right now? Because I was listening to Deathly Hallows and playing Sudoku, but you were actually like nose in book reading. And I
Yeah.
was like, see, I'm playing Sudoku so that I have something to do with my hands while I'm listening to something. Like it didn't feel like the
Yeah.
same experience.
Hmm. I can imagine. I haven't really for true like, ooh, my English. She's slipping away.
English is
But I
hard.
haven't for real listened to a book on audiobook, so I don't really know what that like what the gap is with that
um,
experience.
that's fair.
So, but I can imagine that like if you're not literally with a physical book in front of you, like enveloped in
Hmm.
this world, like live, breathe, eat, sleep this world, then it doesn't really feel the same.
Yeah, because I will say, like, when you have a physical book versus an audiobook, like if I was reading Harry Potter right now instead of listening to
Mm-hmm.
it, I'm looking at the font, I'm looking at the italics that,
Mm-hmm.
were used or whatever. I'm looking at all types of stuff
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in the product of the book versus it's a different experience because I'm listening to the audiobook with Stephen Fry narrating and he is great. He's like voice acting for his life right now. It's wonderful. But it's a different experience.
But
Mm-hmm.
do you think like all those components make for the reading experience? Or do you think because you're not focusing on those things, you can enjoy the story more? Like just because you're hearing the words versus,
Oh.
No,
you
I
know?
actually think it adds to my personal reading experience. And I wrote about this in my thesis, which is funny. But like, what is the word I'm looking for? Ugh, English.
Okay, master.
I know, right?
No,
I
not
don't
me
know who
judging
gave
because
me
I'm
that
the same.
degree. They lied. But like, fontal indication is important for reading because you're thinking, okay, when something's in italics, is that being said out loud? Is that being said
Mm.
inwardly, secretly? You cannot see.
Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's very true.
like there
For
is a
some books, not all though.
not all, but like when you see an italic that
It's a thought.
it's a thought or something, or
Yeah.
it's there's a different culture for reading or like system of
Wait, you're so right because sometimes it is like that and there's no indication
yeah.
that it's
Mm-hmm.
like afterwards like oh he whispered or oh he thought.
Yes.
It's just in
Mm-hmm.
italics.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
can imagine yeah, if you're listening to an audiobook and there is no indicator that that's what's happening, then you
Mm-hmm.
can lose. Oh,
That's
I
why you
didn't
need a
think
good
about that.
voice actor to be like to change their tone of voice to match like what you would get if you read the
Mm.
italic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's
I
all the
can.
more little clues and gestures in on the page that sometimes you might not get with an audiobook.
Yeah. I mean, the book I'm reading right now, like they have whole. What am I reading? What's it called? Whatever. I'm reading the
The Curse of Love or
the
something? The
Curse
Curse of
of
True Love.
True Love or whatever. Like
Yeah.
the third book in Once Upon a Broken Heart. That series.
Mm.
Um, and all throughout the books, they have these like scandal sheets, and it's
Mhm.
like physically drawn, and it like looks like a little newspaper. So stuff like that
You
it
can't.
would be missing from
Yeah, you
the.
couldn't.
Hmm.
See, yeah. And another example, you know how you're reading a book, maybe it's more in like literary fiction. I don't know. You're reading a book and there'll be like a page break, but there'll be like a little symbol in the page break
Mm-hmm.
that
Mhm.
like that okay, I'm going to a different scene now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
You don't have those
Mm.
page breaks in
Mhm.
audiobooks.
yeah. Wow, the nuance. You see, I didn't think about all these factors
It's
when
been going through my mind.
The
I
thing
can see
is,
that because you're coming out with the receipts.
but
You
the
said,
thing
"What
is that
about this,
Ding
and
ding ding
this?"
ding. Ding.
no, but you said that when you listen to audiobooks, you listen to books that you have already read. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
technically, you have experienced it also
Mhm.
in like its written form, and
Yeah.
now it's an extra. You are seeing
Yes.
another dimension of it. So I
Mhm.
think it's still a win-win situation.
Of course, yeah. I'm having a great time. I'm kicking my feet. I'm lottie dying. Like, I cannot wait to listen to Stephen Fry in my ears.
No, I really freaking have to start reading the Harry Potter
It's
series.
so good. It's
So
so good.
I'm like actually mad at myself. It's one of those things that I just have to do. Like there's no other choice. It's gonna happen.
yeah.
Put them on your
So
I
Kindle.
don't
I
even think
have
we
all
can
the
move
books.
forward. We cannot move forward in our
I know.
professional endeavors until
But
you
the
do
thing
this.
is, I've been having this thing. I think this is also part of how sometimes I get like burnt out of reading is that I've been reading series after series after series
Mm,
after series.
mhm,
Mm.
And I've read like two standalone books in the last 2 or 3 months, but
Mm.
I've read so many books and they've all been
Mm.
part of series. And I've been living in these universes for so long
Mm.
that
Mhm.
like every time I finish a series, I'm drained.
Yeah,
But then I
fair.
just start a new one and then I'm drained again.
Yeah.
So I have to get
See,
out of my series crutch
mhm,
and read some standalone books that
But do
might,
you want to? Maybe you're just a
I
series
don't
girl.
know.
hmm.
I mean, right now it seems like that's my moment, but I feel like this has been happening for so long
I
that I'm
say
like,
live in
maybe I
whatever
need a
moment
palate
you're
cleanser. Hmm.
a palate cleanser. Then I would say change the format rather than change what you're
Period.
gravitating to.
Also,
Yeah.
the genre, because sometimes I'm
Mm.
like, I love fantasy, but I've
Mhm.
been reading so much fantasy
Yeah.
that I feel like my brain is rotting. This sounds bad, but like, there's nothing really,
It's a
what's
recipe.
it
It's the
called?
same recipe.
There's nothing that really makes okay, it makes you think about universes that aren't real, but it doesn't make you I don't know. Sometimes it does. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting lost in the fantasy of it all. I
Yeah.
need some books about like real people with real issues sometimes cuz
hmm
yeah,
You
I
need
don't
a
know.
nice, good standalone literary fiction.
Yeah.
Or you know what? This year I want to read more magical realism.
Mm.
Mm, period.
That might be the segue.
Yeah, that might be the transition we make.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I'm reading also, I'm reading this on Kindle though, The Book of Night Woman,
Mm.
and it is very intense. I can only get through pages at a time, but I have read it before. I didn't finish it. I don't know why, but it's about a slave plantation in Jamaica
Mm.
where the one you follow this one girl. What's her name? Doesn't matter. You follow her from childhood, Lilith. That's it. As like a slave, you find out like who her real father is. He's a white man.
Of
There's a
course.
rape situation. Blah
Okay.
blah blah. But you find out that she's a part of this band of conjure women who can manipulate elements and whatnot. But it's
Sick.
very
Hmm.
sick, very cool, very
Yeah.
intense. But it's all set on like in historical fiction, I
Hmm.
Yeah.
guess.
Hmm.
It's good.
Oh.
It's intense though.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, there are some scenes I was like, ah, shit, I'm
It's a
not
bit
gonna be able to sleep
much.
tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
But like sometimes it's good to have
yeah,
books that make you feel that way.
yeah.
yeah.
But it's good to have like when a book like properly grips you, like
Mm.
just like
Mhm.
reaches for something deep inside you and like refuses to let go. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
feeling. But it's also very it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So
And I know there's always a moment where I'm like, oh, this is where I'm about to get carried away in this book. Like, I'll read something and I'm like, fuck, I'm having a visceral reaction right now, right now. I start bouncing up and down and muscles tense and I'm like, oh shit.
No, yeah, there are moments in books like sometimes it takes a second, but then there are moments and you're like, no, sold. Like,
Yeah, sold.
this is what's happening.
Sold.
No, with series, it's so weird. I don't know. I get what you're saying. That after a while, you're just drained. You have been in it
Yeah.
for so long that you're like,
Yeah.
how can I move on and just start thinking about something else? And then
Yeah.
I'm like, so far, what's working for me is duologies. Because apparently that's how much attention, that's how long I can dedicate myself to a series. And I'm like, what if I'm missing out on other series that
Yeah.
because they're just longer, I refuse to, like Throne of Glass or
Yeah.
I don't know.
This goes through my head constantly on a repeat. And also, oh, it's a double-edged sword. Oh my god, I'm looking
Mm,
crazy. But like I love a series, but it's so draining. But then
mm.
sometimes I'll read the first book of a series and it's a series that's still coming out. And I will
Oh,
get mad at myself because I will finish the book and I'll be like, where's the rest? But then
Yeah.
on the other hand, I'm like, well, I've been complaining
Yeah.
about how I've been living in
oh,
universes for too long. But then when it's like cut off, it's like 10 times worse.
yeah.
So what's happening
Oh,
now?
I'm waiting for the third book of a series that I started a year ago.
Oh God.
And I
Which one?
am the Sisters of Salt. It's the series, I think. And then the first book was Salt and Sword, something like that.
I remember you speaking about these books
Yeah.
actually.
Yes, it's the only series that I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna follow that till the end. If it's
Mm-hmm.
10 books in this series, fuck it, I follow it. That's what I mean. That it takes
But
one
yeah.
to get me going, but then I don't know if I can do it again.
But
Yeah.
there's something so thrilling about that. Like and
Mm.
nostalgic of like, oh, okay, I've read the first book in the series and now I have to like I have to wait.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
wait.
Let the author cook, until the next book comes out. There's
I
something
hope she
really
cooks.
nostalgic about that, but also really horrible and frustrating.
I hope she cooks.
Mm.
Oh, oh, that would be 10 times worse if you've been waiting like a year and then it comes out and it's just trash.
Mm-hmm.
Dumpster
And also,
fire
the new book
trash.
of Hunger Games is coming out, and I'm like, I'm
Yes.
seriously waiting for
Wait,
this.
what is that about? Oh, is that
It's
about
a, it's a
Haymitch's?
it's
Yeah,
about Haymitch and I haven't read any of the books, but I'm invested in that.
I I am very
I'm
How,
sorry
very
to
Neil?
say
invested.
no. I'm
How?
very sorry to say this, but I read the Hunger Games for the first time beginning of 2024,
Yeah.
and I lived the best time there was to be lived. I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is it. I'm eating it
It's a
up.
great time.
So I'm very
No,
excited for
guys,
this
Wait,
book.
maybe that'll be
literally
my next audio listen or like
literally
listen.
list the most quintessential like foundational fantasy series. I haven't read any of them. Like for real.
It's okay. I haven't read Twilight, and I want to start reading
I
it.
haven't read Twilight
That's
either.
also fundamental. Is it? I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
I want to start reading it.
Wait,
Well, I don't know.
Storytel
It's
has
also because
Hunger
I'm just
Games.
obsessed with like movies and stuff. So I feel like I know it's not true, but if I've seen the movies, then I feel like, oh, what's the point of
I'm gonna need you to
I get
stop right
that.
me
there.
No,
reading? I
no,
know
I
it sounds
get what
bad when I
she's.
say it, but but I'm
I
like, I don't want to read the same story again.
no, I get what you're saying, but
You
then
sound
we like, but
crazy.
book people.
No.
No, book people for years have been saying the books are better, and we are always
Yeah,
right.
I know it's true. I know. And like as a book girly, you would think. But because I'm also like I'm obsessed with film and like cinema and like
Mhm.
TV, I'm just obsessed with it. So I've consumed so much of this media in
Mm.
another format that like some part of me is already like, oh, been there, done that. But clear like I know I haven't. I know I haven't truly experienced it in its like most true
It's
pure
gonna be
form.
good.
But I'm just I'm like, why would I read something that I essentially already know the plot and the story when I could be delving into something completely new?
You
You know
know
what
how
I'm
a
saying?
hamburger tastes, right?
I
Okay,
I
hold on, hold
hate
on.
this. I
Hold on.
don't
no,
use sense
no,
on
no,
me
no.
right now.
You know how a hamburger tastes, right? You
Yeah.
know what you're gonna get. You know that you got that beefy taste. You got the cheese, lettuce, tomato, blah blah blah. You know what all those ingredients taste like individually. You know.
Why are you trying to
But
ruin
then
it?
when you get the Michelin star burger with the special ingredients, like yeah,
Oh damn! I did not see that coming.
Why are you trying to
No,
use common sense on me?
because you're talking madness. I'm sorry.
But you understand though, like how I could get
How you
how
want
that's like a crutch or like a hurdle or
I
something I have to get
understand
over.
exactly
how
what
you
you
want a
mean.
McDouble when you
Thank
could
you,
have
Anna.
No, listen, I understand what she means because I am going through the same. Like, I want to read Twilight, although I've seen it so many times. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's new? Nothing will be new. But then,
I
listen, I'm like, no, listen, Ashley,
see.
don't shake your
That's it.
head like that. But
And
then
she's
I'm
like,
like,
I'm surrounded by fools.
every time every time I have this need to go back to a time that I didn't live through properly, this is my personal cry for help. Like, I want to
Mhm.
go again back to those years. I'm like, no, no, no,
I
no, no. I'm not going through a depressive episode. I'm fine.
No,
So
that's
that's why I'm
real
not doing
though.
it.
Because also there's something so sad about it to
Nostalgic.
me.
Mm.
Like going to read a series that had its moment in time that I somehow missed.
yeah.
Mm.
So like when I think about reading that series, I'm like, if this is really good, I'm gonna feel so sad that like I didn't read this at the time everyone else was. Like I can't be
Yeah.
part of that anymore. So
I felt that,
I
but
don't know.
also
It's many
you will feel also
things.
happy that you did it.
I know. I know. I will.
You will
It's just
understand things like you never understood them before.
I
You are
know.
gonna love Pita even more. That's the take of this
It's going to
all.
be like knowing that yes, yellow exists, but then being introduced to like ochre and
Oh my
Mm.
god.
lemon zest and sunshine and
Why you
daisy
gotta be like
pollen.
this, Ashley?
Once
Damn.
with the hamburger, and now
There
with
And
the
now the
yellow.
colors.
the colors. It's like having a 10 pack of crayons, colors, whatever, versus
Yeah.
64 pack.
Ooh, ooh.
There's
No,
more
I know. Like I
depth.
know. Like logically, I know I should read all of these books,
And you
but
get
there's just
side
something about
characters
it that
that progress the story in a way that they don't show in the movies.
I
Like the movies is a different thing and it's
know.
great and I love them. I'll watch them every Christmas.
And like
But
honestly, if you love that universe, like even if you've just seen it on film or TV or whatever, why would you not take the opportunity to live in it longer? If I'm saying it like that
Say
to
that to
myself, I'm like,
yourself.
say that to yourself. Say that to
like I don't know why
yourself.
it's so difficult, but for some reason I really have a problem with that because
Yeah.
I also have that with movies, like movies I really love that I don't want to watch them anymore
Mm.
because as soon as I think about the movie, I go through the entire plot and I know where it ends. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what's the point of watching it anymore?
I
I
feel
think
like that
exactly the
as well.
same.
Yeah.
That's the
Or
vibe.
I'll get sad watching one of my like favorite movies. There's a movie called Finding Neverland with
Mm.
Kate Winslet and
Oh,
Johnny Depp.
Mhm,
And
yeah,
it's top 5 for me.
that's a
Easy.
good
mhm.
movie.
But I cannot watch it because
You
there
know
is
where
a
it
part of me
goes.
I know where it goes, but it also makes me sad. Even the happy
Mm.
parts. And there's another movie, The Secret Garden. Yes, it's a book as well. But the movie of The Secret Garden, like, it's a very like, I don't know.
I get sad watching my favorite movies sometimes because I know I'll never experience them the way I did for the
There.
first time
Oh,
again.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
it. That's the point.
Camille.
That's the point I was looking for.
And I think also that's part of books because I know I'm
Mm,
gonna like versus like a film adaptation and the original series.
mhm,
I know it'll be as if I'm experiencing this universe for the first time, and I'm like, well,
mhm,
once that happens, it's over. So let me just not
mhm.
do it.
Oh, I see
I
what. Yeah,
see. Yeah.
So
I
there's like
you
understand.
many reasons.
you did your
That
big
I can
one there.
understand.
Yeah.
That I can understand. It's like
So
that. Once I do it, I'll never do it. I can never do it
Yeah,
again.
there's
Fuck.
something
I can never
so
read Hunger Games for the.
no, it's something so great but so sad about that.
Yeah.
I experienced that when I was reading One Dark Window. I'm never gonna shut up about this book. I'm never
It
gonna
was.
shut
I'm
up
so
about this
glad I
duology.
suggested
Let me
that book
add
for
it
you
to
because you
my
really liked it.
Goodreads.
I am
I liked
never
it
gonna
too, but I'm glad it like revived something in you.
listen.
I haven't heard
The
you talk about a book like this in a while.
wait,
No, it was good.
the female lead, 10 out of 10, and the what's his name?
The love interest was his name
Yes,
Rain?
Raven,
No,
Raven,
Rain.
Rain. No, no, no.
No, Zayden? No, fuck, that's
It's
freaking
something like. Also, can I say something as a bracket?
Elspeth
It doesn't
and
have to be
Raven.
Raven. Okay,
Raven. Why
that
is that so
man,
hard?
that man, put us in a
The
room
man
and
that
we'll
he
fix.
is.
Put me in a room. I'll fix the birth rate problems. I don't care. I don't know. I haven't felt this emerge and this excited to read a book in a while, and I miss that feeling. I think it's coming from there. But
Yeah,
it was also ah yeah. That's all I have to say.
but like I also like that series because it's only 2 books.
Yes,
It's
short
only
and
2
sweet.
books. It's perfect.
Yeah,
I love a duology.
no. I
Like
read. Sorry, no, go on.
no, but it's always between the second and the third book that I lose momentum. So 2
Exactly.
books is
That's what I
perfect for me.
mean. That's
That's a
what I
good
mean when
point.
I say series. I'm like, it's only
Mhm.
so much I can hold my attention to you. Like,
But
I'm sorry.
but then I think about the books, the series that are longer, and like the payoff is so much more if it's good.
Yeah,
The payoff is so
I
much
agree.
more
I agree.
and so
You're
much
right.
deeper and so much more nuanced that you're just like, well, this is an investment of my
No,
energy and
when
my
you're
time and my
right, you're
motivation.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
No, when you're right, you're right. That's true. I don't know. I don't know. And then I read These Violent Delights. And
mm.
that's another thing. You know the ending, and yet you're still fucked up in the head when it happens. And I'm like, why? And then I was crying like
You
3
crying in the
p.m. in the
corner,
afternoon.
rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
Why?
No, no. This could have been different. They deserved a different ending. Because it's like a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Yeah.
and I don't even like Romeo and Juliet. I like
See, but
that
that's the
one.
same vibe though. Like if you already know how it's gonna
Yeah.
end, like
But I
I don't
like
want to
the
read it.
book. I like the book though. Shakespeare could never.
Like I know it's about like the journey and whatever, but sometimes the journey
The
is not
destination is
enough
more
of a
important than
motivating
the journey at
factor.
the end.
Yeah.
Let me be for real. Sometimes it's all about the destination and not about the
No,
journey.
but for real, actually, recently, also and especially in fantasy books, like the journey is fucking slow and it's not entertaining. But then you get to like the last 120 pages and
Why do they
bang,
do
bang,
that?
bang, bang, bang.
Doesn't
So
make
sometimes it is about
sense.
the destination.
Why do they do that?
Because that's how they force you to read a long book and like get invested. And they're
Yeah.
like, I could write literal nonsense and you would all read it just for,
Yes.
the whisper of maybe some kind of clue as to how this might end and whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Fine.
They do
Fine.
it because they can. Because
Yeah.
they know.
Fine. Okay.
It's
I
like a
see.
drug.
Yeah, it's like a drug. Yeah. 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 It's like a drug. Period. Fine.
I think
Fine.
I've lost the plot, guys.
I'll
Anymore.
start reading a series, but you have to start reading Hunger Games because
Yeah,
the new book is coming out and you need to read it.
I think I just have to be more balanced about reading some standalone books between all of my series so that I don't feel like I'm stuck.
See, this is
essentially.
what you're saying is very logical, yes, but also when you're so into a world, it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to hop between. At
No,
least
but
I
like
can
I'll
do
read
it.
a series in
can't.
its entirety. I'm going from beginning to end. I'm not like reading a standalone book in between book 2 and 3 or book 1 and
You
2.
mean
That's not
after?
happening. But after, I need like a palate cleanser. That's what I did when I was in Ghana. Like I read Blue Sisters and I read If We Were Villains, like just randomly sprinkled between
Did
some of
you
my
like
series.
it?
If We Were Villains?
Yeah. Be honest.
No, I liked it. I think I liked The Secret History more, but I think the pacing of If We Were Villains was much more like, oh, like bam bam bam, like it kept you invested consistently, whereas like The Secret History I kind of fell off. And then I came back and it was like, whoa, what's going on?
I haven't
What's happening
finished
here on
it.
this day? But I liked it. I really liked it. And I
Mhm.
like the whole I just live for a dark academia.
Mm,
I live for that vibe.
mm. I
But
haven't
the spewing
finished.
of the Shakespeare and everything, that was kind of
Yeah,
funny to read like as a literature student.
yeah,
It's funny.
exactly. I haven't finished The Secret History yet. I
Mm.
am like on a good 100 page somewhere there. But
Mhm.
if we were villains, I somewhere in the middle, I forgot what we were reading about. I'm like, wait, are we trying to find the real killer? Are we what are we doing? I forgot. So I had to remind
Oh.
myself that somebody's going to jail who didn't do it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a second. Then who fucking like I had to remind
I
myself who
really
did.
like that though. Like the
Me too.
interview aspect of it, that it would go
Yeah.
back and forth. Like at the beginning of every act,
Yeah.
there would be like the interview, and then it'd be like, okay, well, how did we end up here? Like, what does that mean? This, that, and the other. It
Yeah.
was a good like pacing and way to
Yeah.
consistently stay invested in
Hmm.
where the plot was going. It was great. It was good. I
It
think I
was
gave it like
good.
4 stars.
The a time was had. A time
A
was
time
had.
was had. A time
Yeah.
was had.
I really liked Babel. I
I
really
haven't
did.
read it. See, another book I need to read.
Mm.
This is
Is
I saw this
Babel dark
on.
academia? Is it
Yes,
fantasy? What is it actually?
it's like fantasy with dark academia because it happens in a university, so that the academia is very much there. But there's
Mm.
also a magical system. Like it had it all for
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh.
It was. And I want to say something. Yeah, I saw on TikTok. This is not my original thought. That these three books, like The Secret History, If We Were Villains, and Babel, all belong in
Mm-hmm.
a category that's like, what the fuck, Richard? And I'm like, period. What the
Yeah.
fuck, Richard? Like in all those three books, I'm like, Richard, get it together.
What are you doing?
Richard, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Like, what the fuck?
No,
Yeah.
I have to read the Trinity.
Yeah.
I have to read
It's
Babel still.
it's it's really good. I
Okay.
really enjoyed it. That was the biggest. Well, that was after a slump, after a very heavy slump that I had with reading. This was
Mm-hmm.
the first book I read, and it's pretty heavy. It's like 600,
It's a
500,
thick
600
book.
pages.
Also,
Yeah,
she's girthy.
yeah. And then it's the first book I read on my Kindle, and I was like, you know what? The
Mm.
stars aligned. This was perfect book at the perfect time for this current situation in my head. So
uh,
it did something.
Now I'm just getting overwhelmed because I'm thinking about all the books I want to
Mm-hmm.
read, and I'm just
No,
like,
same.
where there's
I'm
not enough
adding.
time.
I know I've been silent, but I've just been adding to my Goodreads.
Yeah.
I saw
No.
you. I saw a few minutes ago, and I liked your books. I'm like, you know what? Let me just, you know what? Hell yeah, let me just like them.
Let her cook.
Yeah.
Let her cook.
Sorry.
No,
You know
I'm getting
what? Yeah,
overwhelmed because we've been listing so many books, and I'm like, I have so much to
yeah.
read.
So now, what am I supposed to read after this? Am I supposed to read Twilight? Am I supposed to read The Thorn of Glass? Am I supposed to go to Akatar and just
I
leave all my
would read.
prejudices?
I mean, apparently you're supposed to read Agatar before you read Throne of Glass. Blah, blah, blah. The
Oh, I
purists
didn't
will
know that.
say.
I didn't know that.
But I started reading Throne of Glass before I stopped reading it, obviously. Before
Mm-hmm.
I read Akatar, and I don't really think
Mm-hmm. I
it
see.
fucking matters. But
Or
I would get through Akatar just to get through it, since you seem to have such a like
prejudice.
not a
Version.
problem, but like aversion to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would just get it over with,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
you actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Or do I read? I'm still supposedly reading Iron Flame. Supposedly.
Oh, well, the thing is, this is also why I don't want to read Onyx Storm, because there's no books after that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the fucking rush?
What's
And
the
I know
point?
there's gonna be 5.
Oh,
Am I gonna be waiting like 10 years
I
for
think
the
I want to
next few
wait.
books?
I think
So
I
I
want to
haven't started reading it, and I don't know when I'm going to. It's just kind of on my shelf staring at me.
wait.
But I also just want to read it because I'm like, spoilers are a real thing. And I know everyone's like, oh yeah, like the first 2 months, no spoilers, everyone be cool,
Mm.
But after that, it's all bets are off. And then
Mhm.
I'm gonna see a bunch of shit because my algorithm knows me, and it'll
Mhm.
think I've read the book when I
Yeah.
haven't. So I'm like, for that, maybe I have to read the book just so I
Mm,
don't ruin my reading experience
I
by waiting
see.
too long.
I
So I don't
see.
know.
You know what? I need people to suggest us what to do here because I still don't know what to do. I feel like I'm on ground one again.
Yeah, and I also
Yeah.
want people. I want to know if people relate, because I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
Are we
this
delulu?
cannot be a unique experience. Please, people.
No, I
The
don't
universe
think.
said copy paste. So where are my people?
Well, on that note, let's wrap it up. Let us know
Yeah.
if you relate to our delusions or anything else.
Give us some
Difficulties.
suggestions or something.
I don't even want to call it
Tribulations.
delusions. Why are we putting ourselves down?
No, I said just some hang-ups, our tribulations, our, little, I don't want to say issues, but no, it's not issues. It's just
Our
our
experiences.
experiences.
Boom.
Do you relate? Let
Can
us
you
know.
relate? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Like and comment and give a review on Spotify. We need those.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
It was
Let us
so
keep
nice.
doing what are we doing, because we like it.
Yeah.
We have a lot in store for the rest of the year, so stay tuned.
Yes, dreamers.
Bye, dreamers.
Bye.
Well, dreamers, thank you again for listening to another week's episode of Carried Away the Conversation. For more and for what's going on over here, take a look at our website at www.thecarriedaway.com and be sure to like, follow, subscribe on all platforms.